Mehdi Hasan finally flipped the script on Piers Morgan and had him on his show rather than joining a Piers panel where he was able to grill him the way that he deserves over Gaza, over Israel, and we might include a little bit about Trump as well, but I am happy to jump off of electoral politics and back into some of the devastating issues abroad that need light shed on them.
What you're saying is that any country that then goes after terrorists that perpetrate that kind of attack automatically themselves become terrorists.
No.
I dispute that categorization.
No, I'm saying that's a straw man.
Well,
I'm
give
saying
me an example where they're not terrorists.
I just gave you an example. They could have responded to Hamas without attacking a kid, killing the kid, and when people come to rescue him, attacking them as well. I can be here all day. We don't have the time. So I can go through. They didn't need to attack an apartment building.
When American forces,
we're not doing whataboutism. We're not doing whataboutism.
When they went after ISIS, but they killed a lot of innocent children in the process.
I think those were war crimes. I think war crimes are acts of terror. Yes.
So if you go after,
I don't think.
So if you go after any terror group in the world.
No, I'm saying if you hold on, Piers. The definition of terrorism, according to every dictionary, is the use of political violence against civilians for political goals. That is what Netanyahu is doing. He said it openly. Israelis have said it on your show.
Well, he's responding to a terrorist attack.
By doing more terrorism.
He's
killed 33 times as many people as Yahya Sinwar.
Let me be clear.
But Sinwar's a terrorist, not Netanyahu.
The constant attempts at whataboutism towards America is a gross last attempt at defense, and one that won't work on the likes of Mehdi Hasan or myself, because we'll be the first to admit, yes, America has done some heinous things. Some of the most outrageous acts of terror have been carried out by America, and America doing terrorism doesn't justify Israel doing terrorism. If you kill someone, your defense in court can't be, well, this other guy kills people, so it should be fine for me. And I mean, it doesn't work here either. If Hamas are terrorists, and I think that they are, I think it's pretty obvious they are, what do we call the organization that has killed 30 times more people than they have? 100 times the children they have, 15 to 20 times just the civilians they have. I would say, yeah, this sounds like a bigger terrorist group, but that kind of consistency isn't seen on the pro-Israel side because it's called Israel. They're supposed to get a free pass from all of this, and it's just something that's never made any sense to me.
You've got to be careful about the word genocide. The word genocide is where you deliberately exterminate a group of people based on ethnicity. And the reality about, let's take Gaza first of all. If Israel actually wanted to get rid of everyone in Gaza, they have the military power to do that. They have nuclear weapons. They could just nuke Gaza, as some of them, I suspect, would quite like to do. They've got some massively right-wing headbangers in that government, Ben-Gvir, Smodrich and others, who I suspect wouldn't hesitate to wage a form of genocide. So I accept that completely. But the reality is that there are 2 million people in Gaza, of which, depending which estimate you want to believe, but the official records from the Hamas-run health authority, there are about 45,000 people have died, of which it is estimated that around 15 to 20,000 are Hamas, and the rest are civilians.
They're estimated by Israel, but okay.
Okay, but there are different figures put out. But let's assume it's in that ballpark, okay?
No.
This is a frustrating line of argumentation because essentially it's Piers failing to understand what genocide is, which most people don't understand that, so I guess he gets the pass, right? In terms of destruction or extinction on a mass scale, what you're talking about is a Holocaust there, right? Not every genocide is a Holocaust. Genocide is about intent, and the intent to destroy can be in whole or in part, and it has a lot more cultural application too, right? Where you're trying to erase the existence of a group, and it's not necessarily physically, but in terms of their effect or their place and role in the world, where if you're indiscriminately targeting civilians while also erasing away at the culture of the group of those civilians, it's genocide. This is something Raphael Lemkin stressed, who is the person who created the Genocide Convention, coined the term genocide. So, kind of the authority on all of this. Israel has both killed tens of thousands of civilians disproportionately in attacks where it seems that they couldn't be doing anything else other than trying to attack civilians, right? And they've also done hundreds of millions of dollars in cultural damage, erasing mosques, churches, graveyards, historical sites. All of this has been destroyed and erased at the hands of Israel, and a lot of it purposefully targeted, right? The idea that in this day and age you could nuke a country or just openly wipe it off the map, it doesn't really exist. Israel would just get nuked by Iran if it nuked Palestine, right? Or one of the other allies of Palestine, or the UN would retaliate if they're trying to wipe them off the map, or best case scenario, they would be completely sanctioned off, get like the Cuba treatment, be relegated to be a poor country forever. So when genocide happens now, it's going to be subtle, right? It's not just going to be in your face, even though, I mean, it's kind of been in your face, but they're going to leave that kind of like plausible deniability. It's going to be more cultural, and it's going to be done where culpability can be taken, again, just like Israel is doing now.
I just find it fascinating that you'll call every other conflict which has fewer deaths than Gaza genocide. But for some reason,
you're fewer deaths in Syria.
There were in February 2012, I checked. Huh? You said it was a genocide in February 2012. See, I do my homework. I checked. 7,500 people in Syria being killed at that point. You said genocide. 45,000 people in Gaza. You say not genocide.
Well, it comes down to what you think the intent is of the people perpetrating.
You don't think they're trying to erase northern Gaza right now?
I think what they're doing.
Are you seeing what's happening in northern Gaza?
Here's what I think they're doing. I think Israel genuinely believe what they're trying to do is eliminate Hamas, who they perceive to be a terrorist
I think you're speaking on behalf of Israelis who aren't saying that. They're making it very clear. It's not just about Hamas. They're seizing territory in Gaza. They're planning to, some of them are planning to resettle in Gaza, and right now, northern Gaza, according to the UN humanitarian chief, everyone is at risk of dying, Piers. Everyone. That's the words of the UN humanitarian chief.
Don't misunderstand me. I think what's happening in Gaza is horrific.
You just won't say genocide?
No. You asked me if it's genocide. I don't think it is. And you asked me if it's terrorism. I don't think it is.
So he's saying they're doing genocidal things, but it's not genocide. He says that they're enacting terror, but it's not terrorism. Like, I truly don't understand how, and this is like only the case with Israel and maybe Trump with Trump supporters, where they've worked themselves into this position where all scrutiny is bypassed and they're somehow always justified in their actions one way or the other. Or if you are going to condemn them, it's not going to be fully. There's always going to be that but, or that little thing you have to interject there as well. As to the intent, this is just massive dick suck on the part of Piers Morgan, if I'm being honest. They were planning to annex land in Gaza prior to October 7th. They were planning to annex the West Bank, actually. When that happened, when October 7th happened, they saw this as their opportunity to, hey, we can expand what we were going to do and get away with all of it. That's why they keep moving Palestinians into further concentrated areas, moving settlers into the land that they moved Palestinians off of, destroying the other land. They're turning it into a parking lot so then they can build their malls and stores on it, so to speak, right? And just the rhetoric from these people should give the game away. The defense minister has called all civilians in Gaza human animals, including the children and elderly, right? Their party speaker said that the goal was erasing the Gaza Strip from the face of the earth. The heritage minister said there's no uninvolved citizens, that any of them are free game. This, again, including the children and elderly. The minister of justice called for murdering all Palestinians on social media. The minister of education said there's nothing wrong with killing Arabs ever in any situation. Their deputy prime minister has said we need to send Gaza back to the Middle Ages. I think their goals and intent are pretty clear, and I think at the point that you're making arguments for a group, that group isn't making themselves to justify the heinous things that they're doing, you might be in a cult. I'm just saying, right? These things get whitewashed in American media, and then by chuds like Piers Morgan wanting to both sides of genocide for some reason, and they act like these things can somehow be justified in some way when it's really kind of simple, right? Genocide is wrong. So if you're doing genocidal things, there's no justification for it. It's black and white. Genocide is either wrong or it's right. That's what you're saying in this situation. For instance, I think the death penalty is wrong. I don't care if you smoked weed, and I don't care if you killed someone. In both instances, it's wrong. I'm not going to say, well, maybe if you do this, it's going to be right. No, we probably shouldn't be killing people. I think genocide is wrong. I don't care if you're just existing on land that other people want, or I don't care if you bomb someone's country. It doesn't beget genocide in any situation.